need to clarify each card with a baby card. So that would be a baby card, a baby card, a baby card. Tower in the past. Oh, the joys of those who delight in the law of the Lord. They are like trees planted along the riverbank. Psalms 1:1:3. I will lift my eyes up to the hills, from whence comes help. Help comes from the Lord. What does the tower mean in the past? It indicates that upheaval about to happen has its roots in the past. So the shit that's about to hit the fan is something that started a long time ago. What does the tower mean in the past? The chaos unleashed by the tower in this position usually affects one area of your life, but the effects are through. You might lose a job, but your love relationship will grow stronger as a result. And it is, in fact, in the reverse position. It indicates that you've avoided a traumatic event. The tower brings major disruption. Everything that's built on a shaky foundation falls down. In reverse is different things depending on other cards. You have altogether avoided a very destructive citation. You have some major trauma in your past that's still affecting you today, and the good news is it's behind you. The transformation as something such as divorce, death. In the reverse condition, it indicates you've avoided a traumatic event, perhaps delayed it. The old ways must go for you to awaken the higher consciousness. The reverse tower is advising you to deal with issues in your relationships before they get worse. If you see a complete direction, If you can see a complete change in direction as the opportunity, instead it won't be quite as challenging. Boop, 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 boop. Mm-hmm. The Tower in reverse is a little less daunting, but it is still a warning. It means the Tower moment is a bit delayed, giving you an opportunity to take precautions. You're in a financial crisis right now, and the Tower is a wake-up call. Save money and get all of your ducks in a row. You just narrowly escaped a financial crisis. It indicates that you just barely avoided it, and in this position, this could be a repeating pattern. It demands that you make fundamental changes. This crisis was delayed, but if the problems aren't fixed, it will return later and probably more forcefully. When the Tower shows up in your reading, just remember that you also get to start over with a clean slate. Undergoing intense spiritual transformation. Alone in the darkness, you can only hear whispers of the soul, so be brave and trust in the universe. Destruction, chaos, sudden change, upheaval. Fire, Mars. It's a no for me, dog. It's a no for me, dog. You look like a thunderstorm to me with lightning and shit. Anyway, the Hierophant. The Hierophant and the Tower card. Tradition. Old ways. Some rules should not be broken. History holds many answers. Life issues. Major forces of life. Religion, group identification, conformity, tradition, beliefs. Tradition, old ways, truths. Some rules should not be broken. It means yes and no. Maybe. The zodiac sign Taurus, Mars. Is that it? The Hierophant in the past. Cultural identity from your past. You were raised among an ethnic group. Keen articles. The kneeling men. Medieval priests and monks show submission of the Pope. Submit to the authority of the Hierophant. So does the Hierophant to submit to the authority of the very office that he holds. When it's in the past, structured belief system, cultural identity from your past. You were raised among an ethnic group that stuck together. And you early saw interactions in religious settings. The Hierophant and the Tower, that's what it was. Okay, the Tower, which is the acolytes are a pair of subsequent cards foreground. The Hierophant is okay, so the Tower. The fifth card in the Major Arcana, the Hierophant, portends a religious ceremony like a wedding, baptism, or bar mitzvah, or funeral. It's referred to as the Pope, the High Priest. It means authority and commitment to strict Orthodox lifestyle. Earth, Venus, Taurus, April, May, authority and this is choosing a dig. Choosing a deck. Okay. The Hierophant as a person is a seeker, searching for the meaning of life. They are great loyal friends. Puts them in a position to provide tremendous support. Gently iconic, marked by integrity, who walk the walk in their beliefs and their convictions. Okay, conformity is the name of the game, and honoring ritual as is honoring ritual. It's a warning not to break from tradition, but to stick to the tried and true. Now is not the time to alter your routine off it. It is crucial that you do not stray from the pack. Routine is helpful. Eat a healthy breakfast at 8 a.m. sharp. Don't wait till 8:30 or skip it. If you always take the stairs when given the opportunity, don't suddenly decide not to now. Now isn't the time for therapy. Stick to conventional medicine. It indicates you've benefited more than you realize from your past ambitions. Determine where your strength lies and apply it to your benefit under these circumstances. It represents religious ceremonies. Celebration, a toast, but it's reversed. Three of Cups reversed. Gossiping, bitchiness. No social life, no friends, canceled celebrations, broken engagements, canceled weddings, miscarriage, termination, cheating and affairs. It's all in the past. It indicates backstabbing or bitchiness from those around you, and it's people being nasty and gossiping behind your back, people that you thought you were friends starting rumors, sabotaging, celebrations being tainted, rowdy, intoxicated guests, ruined parties. A short-term relationship that won't last that is coming your way. Watch your back. Miscarriage. People in your workplace giving the impression that they're team players, but secretly sabotaging you. And it indicates gossip, overdrive in your workplace. Remain professional. Don't give them ammunition. The impact of a canceled event will cause you some stress. Overspending. It's an indicator that you're overindulging too much, and it's damaging your health, and a miscarriage with will end in canceling a baby shower or the celebration of a birth. However, the cards will need to confirm this. Some people in the group do not have good intentions. Do not go against your morals. And that's all the feminist. Protection, peace, and purification. What's in bursts? Solitude, isolation. Music, art, temporary highs. Love the scenery describes a flame that will be threatened by either boredom or people trying to sabotage the relationship by spreading gossip. Take some time for a focus on yourself. Spend time in nature.
About change. You know, we know that in its normal upright situations about grief and sadness, you know, and focusing on the negative things, but when we have it in the reversed state, it is about change. It's
Gossip
about the
and
healing
jealousy.
process. It's about feeling hopeful, feeling stronger, being able to move on, focusing on the positives, allowing the light to shine. Then we have the Six of Cups. This Six of Cups here is about nostalgia, sentiments, avoiding present issues, and also clinginess as well. Codependency. 2. Then we have the Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups here is about the dangers of putting a person or place on a pedestal. It's also about a block in dreams. This card is also about being cautious about your dreams and what you're constantly thinking about. This can also be, taking off those rose-tinted glasses, seeing things for what they actually are, because you could be missing certain things that you may not be aware of in regards to a person, place, situation, or thing. So this is about being cautious. It might not be exactly what you expect it to be, so be cautious about it. Then we have the Eight of Cups in reverse. The Eight of Cups in reverse is also, can be a stagnant energy, but it's also about making mature decisions in regards to that. So, if you don't make the decision, it can be a very, very stagnant energy, but it's also showing that you have the potential.
That's a pretty fucked up past, man. The Princess of Swords in the present. Let everything that breathes sing praises to the Lord. Light is shed upon righteous and joy on the upright in the heart. Yeah. Alright. The Princess of Swords in the present. The present.
The Princess of Swords represents the earthy part of air. She also represents the manifestation of heaven upon earth, which are almost two entirely contradictory ideas, which really sums up this card. She, according to Crowley, she partakes of the characteristics of Minerva and Artemis. Minerva is the goddess of the mind, actually, which is very much this idea of thinking and thoughts and ideas, while Artemis is the goddess of wisdom and knowledge and the hunt. She has this notion of the power of the gods and the influence of the gods on the world, which is a characteristic of all the princess cards, which is surprising.
Curiosity,
because
conversation,
in the elemental
clear
terms,
words.
actually it is the earthy part
I choose every word
of the
with
elements that are going on here. So, what
Right,
is
choose to just
the
ramble along,
Princess
let 'em all come off
Swords doing in this
freely.
card? One thing you've
I
noticed straight
love
away is that behind her head is a
Childlike
swastika,
essence of your thoughts.
which is a surprising thing to see, which is a solar symbol, of course, in ancient India, and still is today, by the way. You have to remember that at the time that this tarot deck was being produced, in the early 1940s in England,
Hi there, and welcome to this video cast on the Princess of Swords.
A certain platonic
So
bond
in this video we'll be looking
will meet in the real world.
the
It's
symbology
a
behind
wonderful card.
the
Plan
princess.
signs,
As you can
love
see,
letters,
there's quite a lot of conflict
dialogue.
there. Certainly elementally she has some inherent conflicts because she, the elements that make her up are air and earth, and those two elements don't get on, they weaken each other. So there is that part of her nature which is, along with the suit of swords, which just has an element of conflict and strife and working through that, and that's really the nature of the mind. So it depends what the element of air is paired with as to how that energy of the intellect, the mind, and thoughts is actually expressed. So she's quite a long way from her mother, the Queen of Swords, as you can see. She also has a sword pointing downwards, but you've got clear skies, and there's an element of a clear vision there and a maturity, which is not in this card. Before we go on to talk about the symbology of the card, just two very brief things. Come across this book, Crowley Tarot Handbook of the Cards. It's actually a re-edition of a previous book by Archon and Heijo Banzaf. I think the original colour was purple on this. This edition is from 2014, so it's gone a whole year without me actually seeing it. It looks really nice on the cover. I'll do a full book review on this sometime. It's organised really nice, even though the picture is very small on the top, but the book is probably going to end up with 1 star in the review. I seem to be a bit harsh when I'm reviewing books, but I mean the text is just not engaging at all. And the two people that have done it, it's almost like tells you a bit about their background here, philosophy, mathematics, that sort of thing. Lacks a woman's touch, this book, that's for sure. As I say, I'll go through in more detail just how the book unfolds, but to me it's just, unfortunately, just a big thumbs down for this. It looks very promising, but could end up in recycling. No, I'm not that vain. Another book which is fantastic is A Dictionary of All Scriptures and Myths by Gaskell. If anyone has not heard of this book, it is fantastic. It goes through the spiritual meanings of a lot of the scriptures. And why am I using it for this card? Because Crowley says that the head crest of this of the Princess of Swords is Medusa's head. And with Medusa, it's essentially the face of a female with the hair of venomous snakes. So I just thought it might be in this book, and it is. And he says that Medusa, the Gorgon, is a symbol of the emotion nature, first directed towards the higher and afterwards to the lower. And he compares it to the church, whereby it's a very poor representation of the teachings of Christ. So what was very pure has turned into something very dark. So how does this relate to this card? Well, we'll see in the next section, along with the other bits and pieces associated with this. Okay, see you there. Okay, this is the Princess of Swords up close. The photo is a little skewed, because I did it. Okay, so she's fighting with a sword in her right hand, with her left hand resting on this smoking altar. She's got these butterfly type wings here, and a green robe which sort of covers her upper body. You've got the sun here appearing through the archway. Again, that represents Tiphereth, the 6 Sephiroth, Kabbalistically, on the Tree of Life, and it also represents like the sun shining through after she's done her battles here. These And you've got all these dark clouds and smoke billowing here, so lots of activity. The general feeling of the card is pretty angry looking. It all adds to the fun. So, Princess Swords, she represents the earthy part of air. And as I said in the introduction, these two really don't get along. The other thing to mention with regards to these two elements is because she represents the earthy part of air, there's an implication that she deals with situations involving the mind being applied to practical matters, practical things. That's where this definition comes from, that's attributed to her generally. So in other words, she's able to manifest her thoughts and ideas and make them into reality. Compare that to the Prince of Swords, who basically just stays in his head. Moving on. I have mentioned this in other cards for the princesses, but for completeness, so for those that haven't seen the other videos, she represents the Hey final of the Tetragrammaton, which are the four letters of the four letters of God. With the female, she's obviously the product of the Yod and the Hey. She's also very distantly related to all three of these. The Vav is also her. She's the consort of the male. So she's a distant relative to these three. And why is she a distant relative? It's all to do again with this tree of life. The princesses are associated with the 10th Sephiroth, Malkut, which is the earthly aspect. It's the grounding aspect. And this Sephiroth is sometimes shown as a pendulum, which is connected to the tree of life but distant from it. And it's because, as we know, in a human body, we struggle to see spirit because it is higher up on the tree of life here. So there's quite a disconnect between the spirit and where the human consciousness resides. And in that respect, she's said to represent the fourth level of the soul, or the Nefesh, which I talk about more in detail in the notes section, which is a link underneath in the drop box below. So let's see if that. So I think again she represents the equation 0 equals 2, which I talked about in the previous video, and this is all to do with the duality, because the princess, it'd probably be easier for me to show you on the tree of life diagram here, because the princesses are associated with this 10th Sephiroth here. It's like the final resting place of the energy of the ace of the suit. So the Ace of Swords would be in Kata here. But this energy has got to be recycled. So the equation 0 equals 2 is to do with the balancing of the two, the duality with the naught, which is the indivisible spirit. And it's to do with the relationship of those two. And again, as I mentioned previously, the equation 0 equals 2 is also seen in the two of discs, which is to do with change and the harmony of change. And it's linked here because again this is the change, the transmutation of the energy and recycling of that energy from the 10. Astrologically, the princesses do not rule quadrants of time, they rule quadrants of space, and therefore they're outside of both the minor arcana and the court cards here. So the Princess of Swords is on this part of the Deccan wheel, and she's got rulership of space from the north elliptical pole from 0 degrees Capricorn to 30 degrees Pisces. So you've got Capricorn to Pisces here, and you've got Aquarius at the centre, Aquarius being the air sign, and she's of the suit of air. She's also said to rule the Americas. So we'll move on to the symbology here, and as I mentioned, the helmet with the crest of Medusa's head. So she's the goddess associated with Aquarius in Crowley's 777 book. Medusa was associated, as I mentioned, with Greek mythology, and it was a monster with the face of a female with venomous snakes for hair, and would, if anyone looked into her eyes, they would turn to stone. So we've got to relate this back to the Princess of Swords, who can be quite an intimidating person who says what she thinks regardless of consequences. So she has to watch that her actions are pure and for the highest good, otherwise she can be quite damaging in her actions. And as Gaskell said, rather like when he compared Medusa to the church, so Christ's teachings were very pure to start with, and the church, I mean, again, I agree with him, have sort of perverted those teachings. There's more about that on my esoteric meaning side for those that have an interest in that. So again, with regards to the Princess of Swords, this is to do with her actions, to make sure, because she is quite outgoing and can be quite aggressive, that she stays true to her highest good, otherwise her actions can be very damaging to people. Go back to this diagram, because if we go close, we have got the sandals, and these are like wings on the side. So we've got the winged sandals of Mercury. Very difficult to see those, but a close-up would be this. This is to do with her swiftness of action, communication. That links to her quality of air. Another strong feature of this card is, if I pull it back, all this darkness here. This can be to do with her moods from the past, things that are blocking. Could say her aura had thunderclouds in it. She can be prone to depression. She's worked through some hard times, but again, she's trying to rise above that. So whether this is dark clouds are internal or external from other people, she's actually fighting through that and trying to get a clear vision. The green dress and butterfly wings, again, to do with transformation and creativity. This gives her the ability to apply herself to different situations and to be able to adapt. And if you think about it, for her to come out of these clouds and to remain above very dark clouds, it's quite a feat. But it does give her a very, can be quite an aggressive nature to have won that battle. She has a hand on this altar, and Crowley says that she's fighting for the profanation of the altar. Well, profanation means it means disrespect. So does this altar represent herself, her sense of an altar as a place of worship? Is it not a place of sanctuary, shall we say? So maybe this represents a time when she maybe either disrespected herself or other people, and she's fighting for her honour. So lots in this card. I promise I'll have PowerPoint for the majors. Okay, for the hexagram, Mr. Crowley associates her with the 18th hexagram Q, made up of the trigrams, which I haven't got a picture of mountain above wind. So you've got air, you've got wind, which is the air element.
who were fighting the Nazis, whose symbol, of course, was the swastika. And so what is it? So what is the swastika doing there? Well, clearly, it is an invocation of the gods to destroy the symbolism of the Nazis and all their works. So a very powerful indication of the magic that.
The Empress reversed.
Want zero transfer lips for 16 hours? Get Shine Loud by NYX Professional Makeup. Ultra loud color, ultra shiny finish. Zero transfer. In 24 vegan shades. Shine Loud Gloss by NYX Professional Makeup.
Tummy troubles may bring fussiness, crying, gas, and spit up all at once. Enfamil Gentlease has easy-to-digest proteins and gives all-in-one comfort. Plus, it's designed to work in 24 hours. Gentlease gives all-in-one comfort for happiness.
No strings, no expectation of what you're going to get. This is not an analytical card. It's a very emotional card, and it's very physical, the physical world. This is a time to create, worry about outcomes or editing later, practice emotional generosity. This is a call to entertain, to harvest what you've created, experience the physical, the pleasures of the senses as a focus and healthy act. Choose emotional health. Choose love, choose nurturing behaviors, nurture others, trust. Connect with family and friends and people of all ages. Know that you have all that you need. Know that all your resources are enough, that you are more than enough. Very pragmatically, decorate your space and enjoy that. Throw a party, garden. I mean, she's just in this beautiful, lush garden, and be open and full of gratitude and generosity. This is just a divine place to be. The Empress reversed. As an act, willful act. This can be someone in emotional difficulty. This can represent being unable to express oneself for whatever reason. It can indicate a withdrawing of love or support. This can represent emotional detachment. This can be just being wasteful with all that you have. Self-indulgence when restraint is needed. This can also represent feeling overwhelmed, a refusal to consider facts, overgiving to the point of depletion. This can be reacting with an over-intellectualized way to an emotionally fraught situation, feeling creatively blocked, over-mothering, smothering, especially as a way to avoid facing your own needs. This can represent a needy person in your life, or you might be feeling extremely needy or need to just really detach. And this might represent someone in your life who you want something from and they are just incapable of giving it, not by any contrary means or not by being bad, but they just physically aren't built that way. All right, the best course of action with the Empress reversed. First, it is time to edit. It is time to use a metaphor, pull up the weeds in your garden, look at what you have and look at what's not working. This might also be a call for you to stop helping others so much. Sometimes to help people is to hurt people. People might be needing more independence, so you might need, this is a call to step back and to step away, letting others stand on their own 2 feet. This might be a call for you to embrace the fact that you can really truly only be responsible for your own happiness. You cannot make another person happy, even if they are convinced you can. Draw healthy boundaries. In a very pragmatic sense, get rid of clutter, both physical and emotional baggage. Choose your yeses and nos very carefully. Be thoughtful where you give your emotional energy. It is okay to prudently withdraw support, especially if it's not being appreciated. And overall, stop trying to be everything to everyone. and this might be a call to approach something from a more logical place.
Hi, I'm Kate from DailyTarotGirl.com, and in this video, we are going to be diving into the Empress. So I'm going to tell you what the Empress is all about. I'm going to point out some key symbols to pay attention to. I'm going to tell you what the dark side of the Empress is, and then we're going to dive into 3 main themes of the Empress. I'm going to be asking you questions. I'm going to be giving you journaling questions to ponder, and we're really going to dive deep into this card, and we're going to take a really up close and personal look at the Empress to see what she's all about and how she shows up in our day-to-day lives. So before we dive into the video, I post these videos every week. I'm working my way through the major arcana. So if you like this video, be sure to subscribe, click like, and leave me a comment. So the Empress, I love the Empress. So she is basically this mother goddess archetype. Now the image of the Empress that I'm showing you right now is from the Universal Weight Tarot. And some versions will depict her as being pregnant, so like a big pregnant belly. This particular version, we can't really tell if she's pregnant because she's wearing a loose flowy gown, so we can't tell. But she basically represents that sort of mother goddess archetype. She is really good at nurturing, at being receptive. She's mastered that fine art of receptivity. She has also mastered the art of allowing. So allowing things to unfold, allowing people to be as they are. She knows how to sit back, relax, and go with the flow. She also represents creativity and abundance. There is no such thing as lack or limitation in the Empress's universe. And she is a very creative character in the tarot, whether that is through fertility, so actual physical, being creative with your physical body, or other forms of creativity. All right, so some key symbols that I want to point out on this card that will help you remember what the Empress is all about are the garden and nature that she is surrounded by. So we see trees, there's wheat, some flowers, there's a stream. She's reclining in this chair in her garden, surrounded by nature. And nature and the Empress kind of go hand in hand. Think of a garden in spring. Everything's coming into bloom, into flower, or even in summer when the trees are bearing fruit. That is the Empress, the energy and essence of the Empress being expressed in nature. So she's surrounded by this abundant, beautiful garden. The stream that's running through that garden is another important symbol. So you can think of it as a stream or a river, and it represents flow and the Empress's ability to go with the flow and allow things to just flow and be as they are. And then last but not least is her relaxed pose. So she's reclining on her throne. She's holding what I always think of as being like a doobie. It's not, but that's what I think of it as being. And she's reclining and she's relaxed. And that really is the key to understanding the Empress. She is relaxed, she's laid back, she doesn't break a sweat, she lets the magical mystery of the universe flow to her. She nurtures, the things that are important to her and lets the rest go. Okay, so let's talk about her dark side a little bit, because no matter how wonderful and how positive a tarot card is, every tarot card has a dark side. And the dark side is really just basically, so a tarot card usually represents a particular archetype or an energy. And the dark side is what happens when that energy is out of balance and isn't flowing right. So the dark side of the Empress is laziness. So she is so good at being relaxed and going with the flow. But if that is taken to the extreme, or if that relaxation and go with the flow type energy becomes toxic, it becomes lazy and entitled. You know, she's so good at being receptive. But taken in the extreme, receptivity can become entitlement and greediness. She can be unappreciative. Think of like a woman who, you know, wants to be supported by others, but just wants to recline on her chaise lounger, you know, eating bonbons. That's kind of the dark side of the Empress. Now, I normally wouldn't really touch on the dark side of the Empress, typically when this card shows up in a reading, but it really depends on where the card is in the reading. So let's say the Empress shows up in a negative position in the spread. Like, say you ask yourself, what do I need to let go of in my life? And you get the Empress. That's an example of a positive card showing up in a negative position. So you may want to touch on the darker aspects of that card in that circumstance. Okay, so let's dive even deeper into the Empress. So the first theme that, and there's 3 different themes that I'm going to be diving into with the Empress. The first theme is abundant creativity. Like I mentioned earlier, there's no such thing as lack in the Empress's, her ability to nurture. And I kind of want to, where everything has to be perfect, everything has to have a place, everything has to be or not. So what is one way that you can channel the energy of the Empress today? And check out my site, dailytarotgirl.com. I'll put the link to my site in
Ace of Pentacles in the future. Ace of Pentacles. Okay. Ace of Pentacles. Okay. The Ace. The Ace of Pentacles in the future. That's some bullshit. You don't hear shit. Let's reverse. Poop. The reversed Ace of Pentacles. Interesting, very interesting. Alright.
Hi, I'm Elliot with today's card of the day, which is the Ace of Pentacles reversed. Now, upright, this is a card of wealth consciousness, and you can see this divine hand presenting a coin, representing that the universe is always blessing us with the opportunity to be abundant and to have prosperity. There's also a garden in the background, which indicates that we have to weed our mental garden in order to attract prosperity to us. Isn't it interesting that when things are going negatively in our lives, especially financially, it seems like more and more problems of the same ilk seem to hit us at the same time. But likewise, when things are going well, you just can't stop good things from coming to you. And this is because your mind plays a really important role with what you're experiencing. So when
Tummy troubles may bring fussiness, crying, gas, and spit up all at once. Enfamil Gentilies has easy to digest proteins and
In this segment, we'll be discussing the Pentacle Pips, Ace through 10. Our key phrases for the Pentacle suit are wealth, abundance, happiness, and security. Yes, everyone knows that. But there's more to it. Pentacles can also evaluate a person's physical health and strength, and also be a measurement or an appraisal of the emotional or mental investment they have made in any kind of endeavor. This could actually serve as a good evaluator for how a person might feel about the actions they've taken or what they're taking away from an investment they've made. Ace of Pentacles, upright. Our key phrases: a new opportunity for growth in money or financial concerns, stability, security, and the promise of longevity. In an Earth reading or an Earth-based assessment, this could indicate a new job, an opportunity to receive a gift, money, of course. This could also be the promise of longevity, financial security, or just a little promise that this is a stable or secure venture. For an air sector reading, when we're talking about messages or communications, we can talk about this actually being perhaps a gift or an offer. You could be hearing about somebody receiving an offer of money. This could be an inheritance. This could also be a notion of fertility, somebody appraising how much you'll actually get out of any given endeavor or effort. In a challenge, the Ace of Pentacles upright warns that the individual or subject in question might be risking their financial security or not paying enough attention to the long term, being a little too stuck in the now and not being prepared to be happy for longer than that. For emotions and relationships, the Ace of Pentacles upright indicates that there is a promise of sturdiness, trust, and longevity in a relationship when the effort is put in. This could also indicate an equitable exchange of love and affection between both parties. For spiritual advice, the Ace of Pentacles upright indicates that you need to focus more on your material well-being in order to actually feel secure in your surroundings at any other given time in any other arena. Reversed. The Ace of Pentacles reversed, keywords. We're looking at limited or conditional investment. We're looking at a situation where somebody may have a catch they need to evaluate when they're actually receiving an opportunity to increase their money, or there could be an opportunity here for them to might feel a slight decline in their physical health. In an Earth-based reading, this does indicate that funds are going out faster than they're coming in. This could indicate trouble at the job, a lack of hours. This could also indicate maybe a source of income could be drying up. For communications with air, we have the Ace of Pentacles reversed, meaning that there's a chance here that somebody might be asking the querent or the subject for money that they do not have, or for money that, if given, they'd never see again. There's also a chance here that the job or perhaps the opportunity being offered would pull the querent away from a stable or secure situation. As a challenge for fire, the Ace of Pentacles reversed does indicate that the individual in question is actually gambling with their personal security, and this is not necessarily a wise decision to make at this time. In a relationship, we're looking at an inequitable exchange of invested energy. This means that this relationship might not have the longevity or long-term security as second thoughts are constantly being weighed. There is a chance here that this relationship might not be successful if both individuals do not focus on giving each other peace of mind. Spiritual advice. This card indicates that the person really does need to get back on track and start thinking about long-term goals and practices. There's a chance here this person is flying haphazardly by the seat of their pants and not paying enough attention to what's going on around them or how their actions are affecting the people in their life.
Hello, in this quick video, we're going to talk about the Ace of Pentacles tarot card and how to read it. Today, we're going over just this one card, but if you're new here and want to learn all of the tarot card meanings, hit the subscribe button and then click that little bell so you'll be notified when new videos are released. In the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith base deck, the Ace of Pentacles tarot card shows a giant hand coming out of the sky holding a pentacle. This hand comes from the clouds, representing the energy of the universe, sharing its gifts with you. This card anticipates the beginning of a new financial quest or creative endeavor. It represents the seed money you need to grow your future. The Ace of Pentacles may indicate a new job, a promotion, or a new source of income.
Question: would you build a website for a major brand with more than 200 million users using Wix? Well, we did. Hi, I'm Sivan. I'm an R&D manager here at Wix. Today I want to show you how we use our own platform, creating some pretty complex functionalities that may surprise.
Hi, welcome to Contemporary Tarot. I'm Madeline, and in this session we're going to be looking at the Four of Pentacles. This card represents security and a commitment to implementing really pragmatic actions. This is a card of playing it safe, prudence, hanging on to what you have. This calls for you to be very organized around issues of money. You may even be a little bit obsessed with money. It indicates an awareness or concerns around the safety and security of your community. And it's all about budgets and financial plans. So this is a card that really represents being safe and secure and feeling good with that. It's a very strong card. It's very grounded. The best course of action with Four of Pentacles is for you to be very pragmatic and thoughtful around the material aspects of your life. Play it safe. Hang on to what you have. Make a budget and stick to it. Balance the checkbook, organize the closet, make sure your mode of transportation is in good working order. It may be wise to be a little bit selfish at this time. That might be the most appropriate course of action. Protect yourself or others through concrete actions like locking your doors, safe internet behavior, awareness of your surroundings. Don't be scared, just be aware. Implement or continue traditional, well-proven modes of behavior. This is not about thinking outside the box. This is about staying in the box. Play it safe. It's okay. This is what you're supposed to do right now. The Four of Pentacles reversed. Stop playing it safe. Throw things up in the air and see where they land. It calls for one to be generous, trying something different, being unexpected. It can indicate a loss of material goods, either through a choice to be more giving or recklessness. This can indicate financial problems or errors. Remember, no matter how hard you hang on to something, the world can always throw you a curveball. Be prepared. Four of Pentacles reverse, best course of action. Be more generous. Be less traditional in how you handle money and the things in your life. Tip more. Give money to charity. Relax your grip on things. It's okay. Be prepared for unexpected financial curveballs or an unexpected expense. It calls for you to just be a little bit more creative in how you handle the material goods in your life. So that's the Four of Pentacles. Thanks for visiting Contemporary Tarot. Please subscribe and we'll see you soon.
Hi, I'm Angie, and I'm back with another video with simple tarot card meanings. Today, we're going to cover the Four of Pentacles tarot card.
Hi, welcome to Contemporary Tarot. I'm Madeline, and in this session we're going to be looking at the Four of Pentacles. This card represents security and a commitment to implementing really pragmatic actions. This is a card of playing it safe, prudence.
This story is extraordinary, especially if it's true. And it all started in the desert, just north of Las Vegas.
A local scientist who's worked at Groom Lake
said to be where top secret weapons
has a bit of a connotation for most experienced readers. Throw it out the window for this lesson, okay? Upright, we're looking at keywords like withholding, access denied, conservation, and clinginess. In an earth-based reading, we're talking about a situation where the querent or the subject's material resources are on hold, and so therefore they are being on hold for themselves. They are actually conserving, cutting back on expending, maybe not lending or sharing as many resources as they could or should, but the important thing to realize is that they don't feel like they have it to share. This could also indicate a situation where a future employer or a superior might be actually withholding information or is inaccessible at this point in time. In a communications reading, this indicates just that. Inaccessible, access denied. Messages might go unanswered at this point in time, or answers might be a short no with an if or a yes with a but. The challenge with this card is that you have a situation where the person might be withholding a little bit too much. They are emotionally unavailable, and they are actually going through a phase where they could, open up and start actually exchanging in an equitable way, but they're not doing it at this point in time, and they need to cut it out. Emotionally, this could indicate a situation where the object of one's affection, or maybe even the querent themselves, is withholding too much information and affection and has become emotionally inaccessible. This could be a difficult situation because what's happening now is as that person closes in on themselves, the relationship is closing in on itself. All of a sudden, two people feel trapped in their own relationship and they can't find a way out or find a way to open up. In spiritual advice, this does indicate the need to be a little bit more conservative with one's resources. Maybe keep some things to themselves, maybe monitor how much they overshare, a TMI kind of situation. And it could also indicate the need to actually just be a little bit more self-reliant. Reversed. We're looking at a situation now where things are opened up, for better or for worse. Keywords: sharing, caring, letting go, and, of course, being accessible. This can be a great card in an earth-based reading for somebody who is looking to actually hear back from a prospective employer or a superior about an opportunity to actually earn more money. The door is open and opportunities are flowing. However, this can also indicate a situation where there might be some speculative or overspending going on, so you got to be careful with that. For communications, this does indicate, yes, access granted. Here's an opportunity for you to hear the full, undiluted truth. As a challenge, again, with the Four of Pentacles reversed, we're looking at a situation where one's material security is not given the priority it should be. Somebody could be oversharing with their resources, oversharing with their information, or oversharing with their emotions. For your emotional life, with your relationships, the Four of Pentacles reversed does indicate actually being able to share deep, dark secrets and actually have an opportunity for more intimacy with a partner. There is a chance here as well that somebody who seemed inaccessible is now available. For spiritual advice, Four of Pentacles reverse indicates that you need to open up a little bit. Watch the overspending and don't overshare. You don't want to look like a crazy person. But at the same time, try to be a little bit more available to the people around you.
The Six of Cups. Back to the happy memories of your past. Generosity, happiness, childhood. Great times. The Six of Cups. Six of Cups, bitch. Six of Cups. Like, I hear me. Six of Cups.
Let's get you looking your best for your big day. Get ready to celebrate at Men's Warehouse.
Refresh your space at Hobby Lobby, where select home decor is 50% off. Stop by in store or browse online at hobbylobby.com to start saving today.
The Six of Cups as feelings in a love reading. Okay, so a lot of people say that this card is a nostalgia card, but people forget to talk about how the Six of Cups is a comfort zone card too. The Six of Cups is about familiarity. It's about predictability. It's about being comforted by your environment and being in the same old, but not experiencing any changes. So, when you have a love interest who feels the Six of Cups toward you, there's a possibility that there's something about you that brings feelings of familiarity. For example, if you walk by your love interest every single weekday when you're going to work and you pull the Six of Cups as feelings, this means he's thinking, yep, there she is again. She's a part of my daily routine. She's a familiar part of my world. But the downside of the Six of Cups as feelings is someone feeling bored by routine and familiarity. There are some people in this world who just don't like the idea of being with the same person over and over again because there's no feeling of newness. I mean, there's definitely a sense of comfortability. They're stuck in this comfort zone though, and they kind of want to escape. They want that novelty, and they just don't want to experience the same thing over and over again. The upside of the Six of Cups as feelings is your love interest feeling nostalgic feelings toward you. So this is the guy who gets caught up in his daydreams about you. He thinks about the past experiences he's had with you. There's a chance he might be looking into the past with rose-colored glasses, only thinking about the good times and neglecting the bad times, but still, You know, he is definitely enjoying that moment where he's daydreaming, he's looking into the past and saying, yeah, I remember that. Good time. If you've ever heard an old song on the radio, and it's a song that you and your love interest really used to enjoy, and you're no longer together, it's just natural to sort of drift back into the past when you used to dance and tune to the song that you both loved. That's what the Six of Cups is about. It's about familiarity. It's about being connected to the past. It's an energy that makes you say, oh wow, I remember this. I recognize this. Or, aw, this reminds me of the good old days. You know, but again, as I mentioned before, the Six of Cups can be a not so great feeling of feeling as if you're tired of your environment. You know, for instance, I love pizza. I think it's delicious. But if I were to have pizza every single day, I would probably get tired of it and want something different, even though pizza is literally one of my favorite foods. So, in the same way as feelings, someone may feel that you're familiar and you're a comfortable part of their environment, but they may want to experience a change or some novelty.
Hello there and welcome to James Hennon on YouTube. Today I've decided to make the video for the number 6 card in the cup suit, and of course, as we know, that's the 6 of Cups. And once again I'm using the Rider-Waite pack to help illustrate the symbolism and the general meanings of the card. Now, just as a quick reminder, what does sixes stand for? Well, sixes generally stand for harmony or establishment of harmony. They can stand for balance, and they can also stand for persevering in the facing of obstacles, which eventually lead to success. And what do cups stand for? Well, cups stand for love, relationship, intuition, spiritual matters, matters of the heart, and the feeling world. So, getting in straight away to the symbolism, what can we basically see here? Well, we can see a younger character, a youth, a young boy or a girl, holding aloft a cup with a flower in it, sort of smelling it, looking as if he's offering it towards this character here, which looks like a slightly older person. We can see 4 cups in the front here with flowers in, and we can see another cup upon like a stairway, and there's some buildings in the background. So, what does this card really stand for if you were to receive it in a reading for yourself or for a friend or a client? Well, it is quite a complex card and does have a few different meanings, but basically I tend to work along the lines that this card is mainly to do with the processing of past memories, nostalgia, and things that you've felt in the past, things that you've experienced in the past. And it could be to do with past relationships, friendships, acquaintances. It could be past job experiences. It could be talents or gifts and skills, things that you did in the past, or it could just basically be your childhood. So when this card turns up in a reading, then it's generally suggesting that the past has some sort of powerful influence on the situation at present. So, for instance, if you had this card come out in a reading, romantic sort of, if you went to see a reader and it was about romance, then it would be suggesting that the past could return in some way, that perhaps a past suitor that was either a failed relationship or a relationship that had showed potential but never happened, and now maybe is a better time for it to happen. Along the work front, it could be that perhaps you could return to a style of work that you once did in the past, or it could suggest that some skills and talents that you had in the past you may go back to, or you may be able to do something productive with something that you did in the past. So basically it's a multi-faced card. It suggests that you have to process your emotions and make the best of what you had in the past, remembering not to look at life through rose-tinted glasses, but also always to take what's positive and what was good from the past, and allow that into your life if it should come into your life again. But the things that weren't so productive and weren't so helpful, like past relationships that maybe ended badly, you wouldn't be advised to explore those situations. You'd be advised to maybe steer clear of this sort of thing. But if you've got something that you used to work on or you used to do in the past, like a hobby or a work-related situation, there may be some gifts and skills that you could use to help you, especially within the situation you are in at the moment. So it does generally tend to depend on where in the spread this card would come. But you need to be very careful with the past, because I think you have to sort of remember that you're trying to establish harmony here with the 6. After the 5 is the 6, we want harmony. So we need to make friends with the past the best we can, learn from the past and kind of move on, which is what this card is really trying to tell us to do. And anything that we can use from the past which is useful, then do so. But don't dwell on the past or live in the past hoping that it will return if you know that it isn't productive and it isn't going to be helpful, because it will only hinder future progress. But generally you want to be persevering through your emotional situations at the moment, being brave, facing these obstacles that you may be facing, that may be challenging you on an emotional level, and know that you'll be able to find the harmony, because there is the promise of harmony within this card. So you have to make the right decisions for yourself emotionally if they should come up. But it's generally about dealing with the past and getting a true and right perspective on it. So that's the 6 of Cups. I hope you've enjoyed that video. If so, please give us a thumbs up and drop a comment below if you feel you've got something you'd like to say about the video. And I'll catch you on the next video. Thank you ever so much for watching as always. Bye-bye.
Finding the right job is not easy. Take control of your life. Get in the driver's seat with Jobs to Career.
The Sun reversed. When the Sun card shows for you, even when reversed, it's still a sign that soon you are likely to find yourself feeling more free than you have in a while, maybe years. However, in reverse, there is much less clarity to this freedom, and you may have to work harder to bring the freedom about. Still, this is an excellent and important time to experience different things which are out of your usual routines. The Sun is about vitality, freedom, joy, and self-expression. Things in general are very likely to be going very well for you, even when you draw the reversed Sunday. When this card is reversed, it's particularly important for you to make an effort to literally count and stay focused on your blessings. No matter who you are, or what is wrong in your life, you undoubtedly have things to be thankful and grateful for. Stay mindful of these things, and you will bring more blessings into your life. This is a great time to socialize, to meet new people, and to get out and about. Work. The reversed Sun can indicate that if you are looking for a new job, it could be right around the corner for you. You will need to stay focused on what you bring to the table and how your skills and talents could benefit the employer, not so much what they could do for you. The reversed Sun shows a particular need for you to share any credit for good work with those who work with you, even if you did all or nearly all of the work. On the whole, if you are currently employed, Your work is stable and moving toward new opportunities and improvements. Just don't take your employment for granted when this card appears. Love. When the reversed sun appears in a love reading, it can indicate that one or the other partners, or even both of them, may be taking the relationship and/or the other party too much for granted. This must be changed as soon as possible if the relationship is to last. At the same time, both parties may need some alone time. If you draw the reversed sun when you are looking for love and romance, the indication here is that possibilities look promising for you. However, you will need to keep a good attitude, and have, or develop, high self-esteem. You don't want to accept just any old lover that comes along. You deserve more than that. Finances. In general, when you draw the sun, reversed or upright, money is likely to be much better than usual. Still, of course, that doesn't mean you should spend it as quickly as it comes in. If you've been waiting on a financial decision to be made by others, this means you won't have to wait much longer and that the decision is very likely to be in your favor. When the card is reversed, however, you may need to provide more information to the financial people before everything is finalized. If so, don't worry. Things look good. Health. Even when you draw the reversed sun, health and feelings of well-being should be at a high point. This is a great time to take some time off if you can and just enjoy life. This is partly mental as well as physical. If you look back, you are likely to find that your attitude has been more positive of late too. This can directly affect how well your body works for you. Figure out what you've been doing right, and build upon it. Again, you have a lot to be grateful for. Make a point to acknowledge this. Spirituality. With this card in reverse, you may be a little confused about your spirituality from time to time. You'll know that there is a great deal of beauty, joy, and happiness to be found in this life, if we are looking hard enough and in the right places, but you may have times of not being sure where to look. If this is the case, ask around. Seek at least a bit of spiritual mentoring. Ask in your spiritual community, if you have one, or if not, ask for recommendations for spiritual communities in whatever way that makes sense to you. This is a great time to try on for size different spiritual approaches to see if any of them work for you. The strength and beauty of the sun is still there in your spirit, and never goes away. It's just that some metaphorical cloud cover may be finding it hard to see and feel. Have faith, if in nothing else, in yourself, and in the beauty of this planet and this universe. Playing cards first entered Europe in the late 14th century, most likely from Mamluk Egypt, with suits of batons or polo sticks, coins, swords, and cups.
One final card on
These suits were very similar to modern tarot divination decks and are still used in traditional Italian, Spanish and Portuguese playing card decks. The first documented tarot packs were recorded between 1440 and 1400. Nine of Cups reversed. The Nine of Cups, whether reversed or upright, is one of the most uplifting and pleasant cards to receive in a reading. Known often as the wish card, it can mean that what you are hoping for or dreaming about most is very likely to be yours. The reversal says that the wishes for you will go even deeper. These are not superficial wishes that are at play now. That's a good thing. General, the reversed Nine of Cups is a signal that things are looking up. Make a point to really stop and think about what it is that you want in your life. You may be pleasantly surprised by how quickly it can come about. Dream. Work. When you pull the reversed 9, it can signify that you will soon be finding and feeling deep fulfillment in your work. There is a lot more loyalty to you there than you would expect. If you are looking for work, this means that you are going to find something much more suitable, much sooner than you would expect. You will feel drawn to the position. Follow your gut, and take it. Love, reversed or upright, this card is a very good omen for your love life. Existing relationships are likely to deepen, become sweeter and more meaningful, at very deep levels. If you're single, you are likely to meet someone with whom you can have a deep, very meaningful, and real relationship in the next few weeks. Mingle. Finances. The reversed Nine of Cups tells you that rather than only looking at the numbers on your bank balance, you must also consider the quality of your life. If you are healthy, happy, with fulfilling relationships with family, friends, and the community, then you truly are wealthy beyond measure. At the same time, money is likely to be making at least a moderate increase soon when you receive this card. Health. If when this card appears in the context of a health question, you feel that your health is reasonably good, you are quite correct. However, this is a time that you can take deeper steps, to not only keep the status quo but also to make major improvements to your health. If dealing with a health concern, the reversed 9 is a sign to go deeper, to look at more than the surface nuts and bolts of your illness and to consider any spiritual implications which may help to support your health. In general, though, this card is still very positive. Spirituality. The reversed 9 of Cups is a signal to go deeper. Look beyond surface appearances and things that seem like coincidences. What might Spirit/the Universe/God be trying to tell you? Make a point to deepen, or to begin, your spiritual practice in whatever way you are drawn to do so. There is more to life than meets the eye. Tarot history. The history of the tarot is shrouded in mystery. Very little in the way of concrete information is known about its origin, although many things have been written about it. We will probably never know the truth, as fact and fiction seem to be irrevocably mixed nowadays. The tarot originated in northern Italy in the early 15th century, sometime between 1420 to 1440. Despite the fact that it is often attributed to originating from China, Egypt, India, or Morocco, to name just a few, there is absolutely no evidence that this is the case. Nor, as is often quoted, is there any evidence whatsoever that the tarot was brought to Europe by the Romanis. The name tarot is often attributed to being Egyptian, Hebrew, or Latin. This is not the case. The earliest names are all Italian in origin. The cards were originally called Carte de Triomphe. Around 1530 the word tarocchi began to be used to differentiate them from a new game of triumphs that was in vogue at the time. The etymology of this new word is unknown. The German variant was known as tarot and the French tarot. The symbolism for the tarot is drawn from the culture of medieval and Renaissance Europe. The tarot subjects are distinctive to European Christendom. The symbolism does not come from Egypt or any of the other exotic locales often mentioned. It is often stated that modern-day playing cards evolved from the tarot. This is not the case. Modern-day playing cards came to Europe courtesy of Islam. They were an adaptation of the Islamic Mamluk cards. They appeared quite suddenly in many different European cities between 1375 and 1378. These early cards had suits of cups, swords, coins, and polo sticks, and courts consisting of a king and 2 male underlings. The tarot adds the Fool, the trumps, and a set of queens to this system. Sometime before 1480, the French introduced cards with the now familiar suits of hearts, clubs, spades, and diamonds. The Joker is not original to either the early form of modern-day cards, or to the tarot, but instead originated in the USA around 1857 and was used as a wild card in poker as well as the highest trump in euchre. It is also often stated that the Catholic and Protestant churches outlawed the tarot and all who used it in an effort to stamp out so-called heretical teachings. This is not the case. The Inquisition documented what the Church considered as evidence of heresy in great detail. The tarot was not even mentioned. After the Reformation, less controversial images for the Pope and Papess were substituted by card makers as the Church had objected to the original images. It is often said that the tarot was not used as a divination tool prior to 1781. The tarot was used as early as the 16th century to compose poems describing personality characteristics. There is historical evidence that in one case at least these verses were presented as relating to the person's fate. In other words, divination. Divinatory meanings were assigned to the tarot in Bologna in the early 1700s, and this is the first unambiguous evidence of tarot divination. Ordinary playing cards were connected with divination as early as 1487. It is not unreasonable to think that the tarot was also. The tarot has often been attributed with being a pillar of Western esoterica occultism. This is certainly not the case. The first occult writers to discuss the tarot were Court de Gabellin and the Comte de Melot in 1781. The tarot was not mentioned in any occult work for the first 350 years of its existence. The terms Major Arcana, Minor Arcana, High Priestess, and Hierophant are anachronistic when referring to the older tarot decks. The historically appropriate terms are the trumps and the fool, the suit cards, Papess or Popess, and Pope. Likewise, pentacles and wands are relatively recent substitutions for the traditional suit names of coins and staves or batons. The original Italian titles of the cards were in some cases different from the later French titles that have become familiar to us through the Tarot de Marseille and its descendants. Also, the ordering of the trumps varied considerably in Italy, where the cards originated. It is not known which ordering is the earliest one. Even the number of cards in the deck varied a great deal. So care should be used in making statements about the original meaning of the cards based on the familiar titles and ordering. Many believe that the Waite-Smith Tarot is the original, standard, or most authentic tarot deck in existence. This is absolutely untrue. The Waite-Smith/Rider-Waite deck was created in 1909. Not even 100 years ago, making it a relative newcomer in the almost 600-year history of the tarot. There is actually no definitive version of the tarot.
Hello, Tarot people. Our card of the day is the reverse Nine of Cups. So, take a look at the picture and been looking at a little bit of the symbolism here. As a kind of a wealthy-looking guy who's sitting there on his stool with his arms crossed over his heart. It's kind of like on show. He's looking straight into the camera. You know, he's saying, "Hey, look at my 9 cups. They are lifted up on high on some type of stand." The biggest part of this card, or the biggest image inside of the card, is actually the curtain and the drapes that are covering what the cups are standing on. And there's something symbolic about this card. This card normally represents an abundance of cups, a certain amount of wealth and satisfaction. It represents, you know, this feeling of appreciation and this feeling of abundance, and that abundance that in a way allows the 10 cups to come along. Because when you sit down and you really appreciate the abundance and you feel, you know, the satiatedness and the satisfaction of being where you are, of enjoying the space where you are in your life, you naturally welcome in more of the same, and you're going to be a natural magnetic force of attraction for the 10th cup. So that most of the 9s, they are very much a preparation or a foundation for the 10 cups. And yet this card is reversed. And when this card is reversed, there's a couple of more shadow stories that we need to look out for. And one of them is complacency. One of them is where everything might be okay in our lives, and we sit back and we relax and we're okay with the okay, which is fine. And you might think, oh, what's wrong with that? No, it's good. It's good to be okay with where you are and to really enjoy a certain amount of comfort and a certain amount of abundance that you might have attracted into your life. But it's important to remember and recognize all of the hardships and the darker stories which you've had to go through, which have actually brought you to this place of abundance, which have allowed you to step into a more fulfilling and wealthy, enriching life and emotional plenty in your life, where there's a lot of joy and happiness. When this card is reversed, sometimes we are happy with where we are, we're not looking for anything more, but we tend to hold on to where we are a little bit too much. We tend to be closed. So the posture of the guy's got his hands crossed over his heart again, and this is always a kind of a defensive posture. It's where we are defending our position in life, where we're defending where we are right here, right now. We don't want anything to change. It might be that we are very weary, for example, that this abundance that we're feeling or this happiness that we're feeling can be taken away at any one moment. It's happened before. We've been disappointed plenty of times in our lives, and we might feel like it's it's a bit like that nouveau riche feeling where you're not really accustomed to the wealth that you're sitting in, and you think it might be taken away at any given moment, and so you're on edge, you're afraid, and you're protective, and you try to hold on to the space where you are, not realizing that there is a 10th cup, there is more on offer for you, and you're going to have to open your arms up and open your heart out one more time. You're going to have to let go of that fear in order to embrace something a little bit bigger one more time. You're going to have to dare to feel more. You're going to have to be open one more time in order to embrace the fullness that is awaiting for you. Now, there are many little traumas inside of that story that we're talking about, where we are naturally afraid, where we are conditioned to doubt ourselves and to doubt the need for change or the need for something more, and this is where that veil there, that curtain that's covering up those cups, or that's holding and supporting those cups, it's time to lift that off. It's time, maybe, instead of showing all of the beautiful things and the great love we have for the world and the great happiness that we've achieved and the joy and the positive messages, it's time maybe to share some of the uglier stories that may have taken place in our lives. And it's when we dare to do this and we find the courage to share what might be the darker stories that are supporting that, have been those, deeper lessons that have encouraged us to grow and pushed us to evolve in our life and reach the point of awareness where we find ourselves right now. If we give importance to that, or if we throw one of those more darker cups on top of the table and say, hey, this is valuable too, this has been amazing. It might not have been amazing. It might not have shown the world my most beautiful, brightest side. It might have been the ugly me who's afraid, the ugly me who's stuck in his past trauma, the ugly me who's sad and depressed, and the ugly me who's just scared to move on, or scared to stand up for himself or herself. It could have been the ugly me who's, very angry and pissed off with the world and did some hurtful action towards other people. It can be so many different things, but all of those more darker, hidden experiences and darker emotions that we have also held onto and learned to embrace and incorporate into our being have allowed our more fuller embrace of the whole emotional suit of cups as it is. And really it's the darker feelings that have allowed us to feel the fullness of the more beautiful feelings, and our acceptance of making mistakes and our acceptance of being complete idiots sometimes and being stupid is what has allowed us to really embrace ourselves and enter into a level of self-love which is much more fulfilling and has allowed us to experience this state of satisfaction and emotional abundance. And that's part of the message of this Shadow 9 of Cups. And I hope it's one that encourages you maybe to share some of your darker stories without fear, opening up your hearts once again, not maybe to have been hurt as you might have been hurt in the past, but with the strength and the understanding that you are grounded within the safety of your knowledge, that you are mature enough, you understand yourself enough to be able to hold space for yourself and to protect yourself when you need to, and to open up in the right moments to new things, new experiences, and deeper sense of love and deeper self-love involved in that as well. All the best today. Share your comments below if you have any darker stories you wish to share. I got plenty. I'll send you all my love and have a fantastic day.
Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to your channeled message reading for the collective. This is the Dream Clairvoyant. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I do hope you're all doing well, staying safe, and being blessed, because you are. So I do want to let you guys know that while I will be continuing my collective readings, I'll also be doing channeled messages for the elements, okay, for the 4 elements. And I just recently posted a channeled message reading for fire signs, Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries. I do encourage you all to watch my element readings, because believe it or not, the elements, they go through similar things, like fire signs, Sagittarius, Aries, Leo, you guys go through similar things. And so it may not be the exact same story, but I do feel like, the different groups experience very similar things or very similar storylines. So I definitely want you guys to get in the habit of watching my other series. I know everyone likes the collective readings, and I do as well, but I like to make them more specific by elements, and even sometimes I do them by zodiac signs, so that you can know if the message is for you or not, and not just, grab any message, okay? Because not every single collective message is going to be for you. So as always, please remember to only take what resonates, okay? Leave what does not. If you believe that the message isn't for you, you're always welcome to watch my other readings here on my channel. Remember that the cards represents energies that anyone, regardless of your zodiac sign, regardless of your gender, may embody, okay? We all carry both our feminine and masculine energies. So, for example, you can be a woman and very much carry the energy of the Emperor, okay? You can be a male and carry the energy of a Queen of Pentacles, all right? So let's see what the message is for the day. Channel's message reading. Channel's message reading. Channel's message reading. The Lovers. So the Lovers talks about soulmates, okay? It also talks about a choice. So it could be a choice between, you know, your higher self versus your lower self. It could be a choice between two people, two things. The Lovers, when it talks about soulmate connections, it's really just saying that these are two people who were brought together for a significant reason, that something significant is meant to happen, significant lessons are meant to be learned, and that's the whole point of soulmates in the first place. There are many types of soulmates, okay? We will encounter many, many soulmates in our lifetime, and each of them enter our lives to teach us very valuable lessons that's vital for our soul's growth, okay?
Lovely to meet you too. How can I help you today? anything I can help you with today, Boomer? Any questions on your mind? Hey there. Is there anything you'd like my help with? Okay. Would you like to come through for a reading about your near future choices? Okay, no problem. But that's what's on your mind, some choices you need to make in the near future. Okay, right. So you've got big questions on your mind. I see. Well, when you like, I can look at it for you. You may find me looking in the crystal ball for you helpful. That might give you some extra insights if you'd like to try. Because that's my gift, seeing things in the crystal ball. Yeah, that's what I do.